What's up, everybody? I'm back, and for the first time in I think like 3 years, 3.5 years, I am doing an amusement park review. That is right. Finally went to a new park. This is a trip we'd been planning for a long, long time. And you've already seen the vlog? Yes, we went to Kings Island down in Mason, Ohio, Cedar Fair Park. Very well known. It's one of the best parks in the world, according to many. Great coaster collection. Very good park atmosphere. People rave about it. And I finally got the chance to go and spend a full day there. We had fast passes, and I was able to get on 14 out of their 15 roller coasters. The only one I couldn't get on was the Great Pumpkin Coaster. And the reason why I couldn't get on that one was because I was unable to without a kid, and I am not a father. So, unable to get on that one, but that's okay because the other coasters are really good. And go down to, I'm not going to talk about the roller coasters too much in this video. They're all 14 coasters I rode are going to get their own individual reviews that will go up over the next few weeks. They're going to be merged in with some other content, try and spread stuff out. So, but each coaster will get its own individual review. But I gotta say, their coaster collection is very well rounded. There was only one coaster that I really didn't enjoy, and that was the Racer. That one was absolutely horrid. And I'll talk about that more in its actual review. But all the other coasters were really good. I mean, they all gave good rides, and the operations in this park, and that's the first pro that I'm going to talk about with Kings Island. The first pro is their operations. Their operations were just superb. It was insane how well many coasters were running 2 trains, 3 trains, and they were getting about like bam, 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 bam. Like you get in, they move you along. You're going so fast. That's something you don't get at Cedar Point. Now, I'm not going to try and compare Kings Island to Cedar Point. This is not a comparison video. This is a review of Kings Island. However, that's what a lot of people do. These are some of the 2 best parks in the entire United States, and some people say even the world. So they're going to be compared, and I'm going to compare them a little bit. Cedar Point, you don't get those 2-3 train operations all the time like you do at Kings Island, and not as fast either. But so that was nice. They were keeping the lines moving along. It was a fairly crowded day. It was a Friday, so the crowd wasn't the crowds weren't huge, I would say, but they weren't smaller. There was definitely a lot of people there, a lot of lines, and stuff like that, but it was fine because we had fast passes, so it didn't really matter. And the only major coaster that didn't take fast pass, only 2 coasters that we rode didn't take fast pass. The Woodstock Express coaster and the Bat did not have fast passes. And for Flying Gates Aerial Chase, we didn't use fast pass because we didn't know how to fast pass until we got up there and realized it was just a little staircase into the ride. So I will talk about that a little more in its review. But another thing so that was the first pro, was the operations. The operations were really good. First con was the park layout. Now, this might be a little bit tedious, but it might be a little bit like cherry picking here. But the park layout was just a little janky compared to Cedar Point, and even Michigan's Adventure, and the fact that it doesn't really do like a loop. You walk into the park, right? And you got this very ugly front entrance. At least compared to other parks in the Cedar Fair chain. I thought it looked pretty decent. You got a Vertigo off to the side, and then you got the restaurant there that's supposed to act as the gate. But then you also, it's okay. It could definitely use a redo, in my opinion, a Cedar Fair update, classic Cedar Fair redo update sort of thing. I think it could definitely use one of those, but it was awesome to walk through. It wasn't all. It was a little ugly, to say the least. But then you walk in past that and you get towards Main Street and like the International Street. Man, is that beautiful! That is a beautiful, beautiful place to see. It's got the fountain down the middle, the Eiffel Tower at the end. You got the shops on the sides. That is just an absolutely beautiful place to enjoy the park, and it's really, really sweet. And you can see the coasters kind of towering on each side of the main International Street. It is just amazing. It is just a beautiful sight to look at. And that's their best point of presentation. This park does a really good job at park presentation. The rides are all very well presented. There's a lot of good landscape. Everything is kept clean, and it's really beautiful. So that they do a good job with that. First, the park layout though, which was the first con of this little video here, is there was a lot, because it doesn't go in a full loop. Like International Street, you go down International Street, and you can keep going back to about Backlot Stunt Coaster before you kind of have to split off. Till past the Eiffel Tower, you see Backlot Stunt Coaster, and you have to kind of split off to figure out where to go. But like the area down by Banshee and in Vertigo, that's a dead end. The kids area is a dead end. And you go back towards the Beast is a dead end. And so, it's a lot of having to go down a place and then turn around and walk all the way back. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why it's not more of a cohesive loop. It wasn't that big of a deal for us, but because we were kind of lost anyways. Because another con is another con is a little bit of a tedious pet peeve thing of mine, is that they're cashless. Kings Island is cashless right now, and I think that'll stay because of COVID, and it's easier. Don't have to worry about money or anything like that. It's all just a card swipe and whatever. But what they also do is they don't have maps. They don't have physical maps for you to give out. They did have one on a board by Orion that we could reference, but other than that, you had to use the app. And quite frankly, I didn't want to use the app. I wanted to just have a map in front of us to look at, because the map was small and it was hard to read and stuff like that. So we were kind of just wandering around the park, kind of using the structures as kind of reference points and stuff like that. And by the end of the day, we'd figured out the layout of the park pretty well, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But would have been nice to have a little bit of a map sort of thing. And then another pro that I really, really enjoyed was the Eiffel Tower. I liked the Eiffel Tower because, Michigan Adventure and Cedar Point, the other two Cedar Fair parks that I visited at the time of recording this video, don't have an observation deck. Cedar Point used to have one, was removed 10 years ago. Michigan Adventure does not have one at all. Their only true observation deck is their Ferris Wheel, which they prohibit filming on, so you have to be a little bit careful with that and stuff. But this place is, you go in, you just take a straight elevator straight up, and you can just stay on that platform and watch the rides and everything. You can just stay there and film and pick pictures and just stay up there and enjoy the view as long as you want. And it gives an incredible view. It is an amazing view that is there. You can see all the coasters. Almost all the coasters. You can see all the coasters. You can see the parking lot. You can see the water park. You can see you could see the buildings and the streets and the hotels, and you can see the city farther down, and it even looks great at night with all the lights on and stuff like that. Absolutely gorgeous view. The bars make it a little hard to film stuff, but you can't even be able to get around that. There's a good reason why it's there, so I'm not mad about that at all. But it would be nice if there were windows maybe, but that would kind of take away from the real view. It would take away from a breeze, because it was a really nice breeze that was up there. Because another thing, another thing, it was hot, and that's not something Kings Island can really control. The lack of misters in the park though was a little bit sad. They had some fans, like the Beast had a fan in its station, and a few other rides had fans in their stations. And they had 2 water rides, and they were really fun to ride, even though I did get soaked on both of them. But it was good to cool. That was a nice way to cool off during the day. But they didn't have a lot of Cedar Point. You got the fans and you got the misters and stuff like that, especially in the queue lines for the coasters. In Kings Island, didn't really have that. Maybe it's because we had Fast Pass and we just didn't. They don't put them in the Fast Pass places or whatever. I didn't really see any though when we were walking through, looking at the actual queue line. Maybe Diamondback maybe had some. Orion probably did too, but I didn't see any. And so, that was a little bit of a thing probably something that they could improve on. Also improving on maybe some more more easily accessible drink refill stations. Most of the drink refill stations were located within places that also serve food. So they were always super crowded because people were there to get food and drink. So if you just wanted to drink, you had to wait in the line. You couldn't just easily go around and try and scan the thing for that. That was a little annoying. They luckily though they were moving people through very fast. Like we went to this pizza place for lunch, and they were literally just making the pizza, cutting up the pizza, giving it, plating it, and just throwing it out there, and people could just take it if they wanted it or not, which I thought was really cool. It's like a self-serve sort of thing, but and so it helped move the line along and help with congestion and stuff like that, which was nice. I thought it was a really nice touch. Well, another care to their operations. It's not just the rides that they're really good operations, it's also food. For dinner, we had I went to this like chicken place. Chicken wasn't alright. The chicken was alright. The pizza was better than the chicken for sure. The pizza was really good. And the chicken not so much, but it is what it is. What are you gonna do? There's really weird blue ice cream too. Oh my god, I'm tired, guys. We got home at 5 in the morning from Kings Island. Okay, shut up. But no, they had like some really weird blue ice cream. It's like a blueberry, like blue raspberry flavor, according to Eli. I didn't actually try it because they only served it in cones. But you literally just it looked pretty cool, to be honest. This park more, as well as for Cedar Point, is another pro. This park is a little bit more akin to their theming on rides. Now I know most of that comes from the Paramount days, especially with like Flight of Fear and Backlot Stunt Coaster. But they also had some pretty good stuff for Orion. There was some good stuff for Diamondback. Well, not really for Diamondback, but there was something. There was stuff. The coasters that weren't there during the Paramount days, you can tell that they were really not. They were Cedar Fair-esque theming, but otherwise, it was pretty good stuff. I did like the touch of the indoor coaster, and some of the Fastlane locations were a little bit out of the way, a little bit jank, but you know what? You deal with it because you can find it. It's not that big of a deal. They also had a lot of accessible shops, a lot of places to shop for not just food, but for drink and stuff like that. Which was really good. Again, more refill stations would have been nice because it was hot. It was a hot day, and it would have been nice to just be able to run in, get something to drink, go. But no, you had to wait in line. It wasn't too bad because usually when we were drinking, we were also eating, so we needed the food. We don't need the food, but you know what I'm talking about. Great, awesome stuff. But overall, this park was really, really, really nice. I probably will get back there, hopefully, within the next... I hopefully want to get back there when there's a new ride out, like a new coaster. Like, they're rumored to get a Son of Beast RMC, and they're rumored to get maybe a Stratocoaster or something like that. Because, you think of their coaster collection and compare it to Cedar Point. They got the Giga Coaster, right? I think Millennium Force is better than Orion. The Hyper Coaster, I do think Diamondback is better than Magnum, but only slightly. The launch coasters, Backlot Stunt Coaster, and Flight of Fear do not compare to Top Thrill Dragster at all. They're lacking the RMC, so Steel Vengeance wins 100% in that category. And then they have a lot more family rides, like the Adventure Express and the kiddie stuff and all that stuff. Cedar Point doesn't have that much. They're also winning in the wooden coaster category because Cedar Point only has Blue Streak, while Kings Island's got Mystic Timbers. They've got the Racer, which I think was worse than Blue Streak somehow, but then they've also got the Beast as well. So they're definitely winning in that category. And then another thing was like off-ride footage, right? Let me go off a little tangent. Off-ride footage, right? Because you go off-ride footage. Diamondback was really good for that. Banshee even. But Orion, the Beast, of course, you're not going to get much of. But Diamondback, Orion, Mystic Timbers, not a lot of it. That kind of sucks. But, it was okay. But again, back into the coasters. I think if Kings Island gets that RMC Son of Beast revamp that they've been rumored to get for a while, I think they have a pretty legitimate case. They overtake Cedar Point as a better coaster collection. That also be amplified if Top Tail Dragster just never reopens. But also that also is depending on what Cedar Point might add, because I think they're going to try and get maybe the most inversion, the loopiest coaster in the world. Maybe they go for 500 feet, and then it's just a direct correlation. Like, here's Kings Island, but here's Cedar Point, and it just goes like that. I mean, because Cedar Fair is going to invest in their flagship park the most, so they're going to obviously want to, keep directly coordinating it. But they do love Kings Island, and I cannot wait to see what this park gets next, because they definitely need it. One thing they really do need, though, other than RMC Centerbeast, other than a new front gate, they need a Ferris wheel. They don't have a Ferris wheel. Now, maybe they don't have it because of the Eiffel Tower, but I'd love to see them get a Ferris wheel. That's another thing that they could get. They didn't really have that. Maybe an update to a flat ride collection. They had some good flat rides. Most of them are closed. The Drop Tower was still down all day. The Windseeker was down all day. They had the Delirium was open. We didn't ride it, though. We just get some more of those. But overall, I thought their ride collection was really good, and I liked the park. But again, probably won't come back here unless they get something new that's big. Just because it's a longer drive, and Cedar Point's closer, so because I still have Cedar Point as my number one park. Sorry, guys. But Kings Island's still really good. I think it's going to definitely hold at number 2 for a long time, because I really enjoy it. It's definitely a 9 out of 10 park for me. Absolutely loved it. So, if you guys have ever been to Kings Island, or want to go to Kings Island, or have thoughts about the park, please comment them down below. I would love to hear your stories, hear your reactions, hear your thoughts on the park. Let's have a discussion. So, sorry for being really tired, guys. I wanted to get this out to you. I'm going to wake up, and we will catch you in the coaster reviews and much more amazing content coming soon. So, till next time, everybody, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.